This is Ross Hollabin for Redskins.com. Here with special guest Sam Farmer, who covers the NFL for the LA Times. Sam, here in Orlando, what are your thoughts about what news and different things have come out of the annual meetings here in Orlando?
Well, not a lot of these proposals I think are going to pass. They're interesting to sort of chew on, but I think the centralized replay is particularly interesting, and the fact that the league is going to use a command center to sort of double check some of these reviews, I think will further improve officiating. So I think that's an interesting development. Obviously, there was a death of Ralph Wilson, and I think there's a bit of a pall over these meetings with the illness, with Jim Kelly's struggles, and there's always the background of the NFL in Los Angeles, and the fact that Mark Davis, owner of the Raiders, has come out now and acknowledged that he will look into moving the team to Los Angeles. You've got Stan Kroenke, the Rams, and Dean Spanos of the Chargers looking at Los Angeles. So that's of particular interest to me. Nation's second largest market, and the largest void in professional sports.
Yeah, so you do have that interesting perspective of covering for such a large market, such a large paper with the NFL. Like how do you think a team would do in LA based off of the Raiders and the Rams having been there before, and now the league, potentially saying something could end up there again?
Well, that's interesting. It's a big gamble for the league because not only the Raiders and the Rams left, but the Chargers, who started in Los Angeles, left. And the nature of the NFL has changed dramatically in that it's become a TV game. And sort of Tex Schramm warned against the NFL becoming a studio game, and to a large degree it has. And so I think you'd be able to fill the seats in Los Angeles, but you'd have to have a winner there. If you don't have a winning team, people tend to lose interest. And there's another aspect of this too, and that's fantasy football. And fantasy football has been a double-edged sword for the league because it's gotten people more interested in football on a granular level, and that who the third receiver is for the New England Patriots. And yet it's encouraged people to stay home and monitor their teams as opposed to going to games where you're out on an island and you don't know what's going on in the rest of the league with your team. So people in Los Angeles have gotten used to the luxury of staying home and watching all games, Red Zone channel, that kind of stuff. It works against bringing a team back to LA.
And we had our quick discussion, a little bit earlier today. So having grown up a Redskins fan, we've got Doug Williams coming back in-house. We've got, talk about some of your memories and, what made you a Redskins fan growing up.
I snuck into the Super Bowl in 1983 at the Rose Bowl when the Redskins beat the Dolphins. I was able to get through the fence at the Rose Bowl and find a seat. So I was there when John Riggins broke off his big run and the counter tray, and I have a deep affection. Grew up in Gaithersburg, Maryland before we moved to California, so I have a deep affection for those old Redskins and the Hogs and the Fun Bunch and all those teams, and certainly Doug Williams, what he was able to do in 1988, I believe. That was the 87 season. So that's neat. I mean, the Redskins have done a good job of staying connected with their former players and their history, the rich history of the Redskins. I mean, really an iconic crown jewel organization, and it would be fun to see them get back there. It's been a long time, and many years have passed since those eras, but seems sort of fresh in my mind. I do remember I couldn't go to school the day after the Raiders beat the Redskins in the Super Bowl. I was so devastated, and I lived in Los Angeles, so that was tough dealing with all the Raider fans as a kid, but I do understand the deep affection people have for the Skins.
Sam, thank you so much.
My pleasure, Ross.